Hi everybody, it's your teacher Meg, and I wanted to give you an orientation to my how to navigate my art appreciation course. So hopefully you have already viewed the Canvas navigation video tutorial, which you can find here from the course homepage. That has some very general overview information about how Canvas organizes this site, their learning management system. And so that's a good place to start. If you haven't watched that video yet, please stop this video, go back to the homepage and find the Canvas navigation video tutorial and watch that one first. So in that Canvas navigation tutorial, you'll learn that Canvas has its menus here on the far left, that you can get to all your courses and your calendar and things that are generic to all of Canvas. Then when you're in my course, so if we look up here, it's Art V01, the CRN I'm in right now is 32476. And this left menu of blue links is the menu that I've set up particular to this course, okay? So we're going to take a look around. First, on the home page here is where I put information that's specific to the semester in terms of dates, start and end, and then your drop with a W and without a W dates. And then, as always, make sure you refer to the CRN if you're ever sending me email correspondence, or if you're using the Canvas message system, or if you're using Remind, which you'll learn about. I have a lot of classes, so it's important. The answer to your question might depend on which CRN you're registered in, so please be sure to include that in correspondence. Okay, so first we're going to look at modules because modules is the most important way for you to navigate the course. You'll learn through Canvas that you've got a to-do list, you've got a calendar, there's lots of different ways that you can access things that are due, but the modules might have important information that is not associated with a due date, but is still something that's important for you to know. So these are the modules that are currently published. I try to publish 1 or 2 unit modules every week, depending on the pace of the course. And of course, you can use these little carrots to minimize or expand each module. And you'll notice that this one, everything is black and ready to click on. If I minimize that and go to the next one, you'll see that everything is grayed out and you can't access any of that content yet. If you look to the right of the module name, it'll give you the prerequisites. So I have set it up so that you can't get into Unit 0.2 until you've finished Unit 0.1. So let's click back into Unit 0.1. And not every module is set up like this, but it's important to know how the modules may restrict your movements so you can make sure you get everything done. So if you look right underneath each component, it may have some directions that are particular to that component. So for example, the welcome message, you'll see underneath it says view. That means that I've set this up that I want to make sure you view this welcome message. So if you at least click on it, it will take you to my welcome message. Oh, and I just want to point out, sometimes I embed an external website on a page, which is what I've done here. So if you hover on the far right, you can scroll up and down this Canvas page. And if you hover in the middle and scroll, you'll see everything that's on that page. So make sure you're scrolling either for the embedded web page or for the Canvas page itself. Okay, so now that we view the welcome message, let's go back to modules. Here again on the left menu, I'm clicking on modules. And you'll see that that is now checked as done. See the green check mark there? Okay, the next one down, navigating modules, it says mark done. And then there's this circle there, meaning it hasn't been done yet. So let's click on that page called Navigating Modules. And it's explaining to you basically what I'm saying here is that it's important to go through the modules in order and go through everything. When a page has important information on it and I want to make sure, I want to verify that you've read that important information, I will add this requirement that you have to mark it as done. So if you go down to the bottom of the page, it says, got it, to acknowledge your understanding, please click on the done button in the top right of this page. So if we look up there, there it is. I'm going to click on it. Now it says the page is done. Let's go back to the modules And you will see that that now has a check mark too. Okay, so there's a few things on here that have check marks. So the best way to navigate your module is to start at the very beginning. All of this information is stuff that's important to you. And go through it, read it all the way to the end, and then hit next at the bottom right to navigate to the next thing in the module. I want to point out to you right now that the Canvas video mentions these breadcrumbs up here that kind of tell you where you are in relation to the overall navigation. I find that confusing. I don't suggest that you use that at all. I suggest that you always use the buttons down here on the bottom right, next, or if you need to go back to something on the bottom left, previous. Okay? So we're going to click through this. We clicked it as done, so we're going to click on next. And this one has mark as done as well. I'm going to read it all the way to the bottom, make sure I got all the information, and I'm going to mark it as done. And we're going to go on using the next button. The syllabus is, of course, important information. That's where you will always find it every time you need it. Click on next. This page has information, my suggestions on how to establish a workflow for the class. It is also asking you at the very bottom, it says, got it, please acknowledge by pressing the done button. I'm going to go back to the top, mark it as done, and then continue on through this module. So this method that I'm demonstrating you of clicking through every single thing that you're supposed to do, reading all the information. This is one of those pages where there's a Canvas page, but embedded in it is another page with a lot of information. So reading everything in the order it's provided to you, clicking through to the next piece so you know you've gotten all the information that's pertinent to you. And we're almost at the end of this module. Here's a discussion that you can participate in. Click on next. This is a preview of your personal project. That's going to be important for you to look at. So when you're in the module, take your time on this one. And the reason I'm clicking through all of this is so that you can see what it's like to move through a module. And you can also see what happens once you have completed the module. So when you've reached the end of the unit module, there's a graphic there to remind you of that. And then there's also an opportunity for you to give me any feedback. Every module will have this. So if there's anything about a particular module that you find confusing or you need help with, here's an opportunity for you to give me that information. And your feedback is always anonymous if you choose for it to be. If you look down the bottom left here, this survey is hosted by an outside software called Airtable, so it's not associated with your Canvas account. So when you leave me feedback, it will remain anonymous unless you supply your name. Okay, so you would, if you had anything to say, you would submit it here. And if I click on next, it'll show me that I've arrived at the very next module. Okay, so this is resources for online students. So I'm going to go back to the modules tool here, just so we can have an overview of how it looks different now. So notice on the right, all the check marks of where they need to be. Everything that doesn't have a little circle waiting for it means there's nothing to complete there. So if you look at next to at the top, the title of the unit, complete all items, there's a check mark, and it says that you've completed this unit. Now, if we minimize that and we look at the next unit, now unit 0.2, now that is available for you. Okay, so because the prerequisite was to complete unit 0.1, you've done that, so now this next one opens up for you. And that has some prerequisites before unit 1 will open up for you. You can see the prerequisites there. So I hope that's an overview that helps you navigate the modules and understand the importance of the modules and the kind of things that you'll need to do to kind of stay up to date with the modules. So the next thing I wanted to show you really quickly is assignments in this class. And this is where you can see all the assignments that are due. All assignments you're responsible for. There's some small assignments we do every week. There's some larger assignments that are due at the end of the course. And when you're looking at that, it has all the information about when it's due, when it is available until, meaning that is the time in which it will close and you can't make submissions any longer. And then up on the top right, I want to show you can sort this different ways. So sometimes you might want to look at it by date, but sometimes you might say to yourself, I just want to know what discussions I have done or haven't done. You can use these carrots to minimize again, and then you can get an overview by the type of assignment you have. Okay, and then if we go back to show by date. Okay, so now I want to show you the grades section. And this is where you will see everything for which you have been given a grade. Okay, this is just a test student view, so there are no grades in here now. But your score would show up in this column underneath score. And then out of is how many possible points there are. And then if I've left any comments, you'll see a little icon over here that'll explain comments that you could click on to read my comments. There will be a separate video just explaining the grades tool because it's very robust. It can do a lot of different things for you in terms of what kind of information you can get from the grades tool. It's a little more detail than I want to get into here, so there's a whole separate video just for that, so you can look for that. The other things that you might want to use in this class are the people. You can look up other people in the class. On the left menu, you will also see a chat feature. If any, you can see who is live online and chat with anybody. You can start up a chat in real time. And then way down at the bottom is the syllabus, and that's essentially the same information you get in the assignments tab, but it's just organized slightly differently. And you know, you can use whichever one you feel like provides the information to you in the way that's the most understandable. So I hope that gives you a good feeling of the best way to navigate my course, the kinds of options you have in the course menu. And if you have any questions at all about anything in this video or in terms of navigating either this course or Canvas, feel free to drop me an email, to send me a message using the inbox over here in the left Canvas menu, or to use Remind, which you'll learn about in the first module. Okay, thanks so much and see you online.